Yo, what's up? This is episode 3, No Feelings Boxing. It's your boy Tony.
What's up, man? We got Will over here.
And it's been a hot couple weeks. We missed y'all last week, but that's y'all. If y'all check the podcast out anytime you get a chance to the first 2 episodes, we probably do this every other week. It'd be lucky if we can do it every week, but you know,
Every other week at least.
coming up and shit. Every other week at least. We won't leave you for too long.
Facts.
Facts. First up on the list of topics today, we're gonna run through the Terencee Crawford fight last week, and we're gonna run through Bud as a whole for a little bit before we jump into some other stuff.
You don't want to talk about the Rondo Chris Paul fight first?
We're gonna say that for tomorrow.
that was a big fight in the fight world. Social media is in a frenzy.
Everybody check out NoFeelins meetings tomorrow, man. Well, this week we recorded tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the Rondo Chris Paul smoke. Y'all make sure y'all tune into that.
Yeah, if y'all Drake fans or whatever, we got a special episode coming out this week, too. What day is that? Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely got a special Drizzy episode coming. October 24th.
Yeah, so if y'all fans of Drake, check the social medias. Be on the lookout for that. It's already recorded and ready to go. So we just waiting on that day.
Definitely got that coming. So what you thought about Bud fight last week, yo?
It was easy money. If it was, I think he had. If it would have went to decision, I think he had it. If it went to decision, and I think him finishing in the 12th round, I think that was in the 12th round. You could see he was on a mission to make sure the fight got stopped in the 12th.
Yeah, he was trying to get Benavidez out of there.
Yeah.
So what you think about? What did you think about his whole performance and him and the future of Bud Crawford?
I mean, I think his performance as a whole. I think that was a good match. I think it was a good performance from him. I think he's a great boxer. Like you get some of these guys that and shit like that, or some guys that just like, to me, he's just a great boxer. He
all around great.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites right now, if not favorite. I mean, oddly enough, is between like him and Spence.
Right. Oddly enough.
So I mean, I think it's, the future is bright for him. I think, with all the smoke that kind of was going on after the fight, I think he might have a couple of interesting fights or whatever to get into after.
He definitely got a couple of interesting fights coming up. I thought Bud did a hell of a job. He definitely, I ain't gonna say I didn't think he was great before that or I didn't like him, but just watching how he surgically broke down Benavidez, that shit definitely made me a bigger believer in him. Yeah, man. That was one of the best performances I've seen this year. And there's been a lot of great performances this year.
That's why I felt like in that 12th round he was on a mission to stop the fight. He didn't even want it to go to decision. Because had it went to decision, it was gonna be, I feel like it was still a win regardless.
Right, but just to say, like, I got him out, like, just, especially with all the shit that was happening before that fight with the press conference, and he swung on him and everything like that. You could tell it was a real issue. And he had a mission. He was on a mission, rather.
Yeah, so that was round 1. He was up 1 round coming into the fight after the press conference.
He was hot. He was already hot.
He was on the street.
So next up, so we know what Bud did, and we know what Earl's done this whole year and how he's called everybody out, and we do want to see that fight. Hopefully we get it next year. Well, what do you think we any closer to seeing that fight with all the politics in boxing? And how you think that fight is looking as far as those two matching up right now?
I think boxing world, they need to make that fight happen, honestly. I think that's a fight that we need. I think I'm hoping with the performance he put on against Benavidez. In my opinion, it should make that fight a lot closer to happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, now with the politics in boxing, who knows?
Yeah, the politics.
I think it should be going. I think it could have went down a while ago. I mean, even still.
Right. Yeah, the politics is definitely something else in the sport right now. But I mean, we heard Bob Arum this week say the fight can happen, the fight can be made. We know that, like, they love to say they on two different sides of the street. You got Terrence over there on Top Rank, and you got Earl with Al Heyman and PBC and those guys. So, I mean, I want to see the fight happen next year, but anybody listen to the podcast, you know me, like, I don't mind these things bubbling and getting more buzz because at the end of the day, this all is a business. And that's a big pay-per-view fight for both of those
Yeah, because
guys.
I think they both want to fight each other, but it ain't like one of them situations. I don't think those two have like a real problem besides wanting to fight each other.
You don't
I
think so?
that, like a lot of these fighters and shit, they make it personal. I think they just want to fight each other.
You don't think
see who's
you don't
better.
think it's a bigger like it's a real life issue between them though? Because like yeah, it is a who's better, but I get a vibe from them is like I really don't like this guy. I do think that the issue is mainly rooted in like who's better, me or you. But I do feel like it's a bigger issue like between those two because anybody that know the history, you see it over the past couple months. Like Terence Crawford trainer Bomac he'd be talking about Earl and he'd be saying like, oh, they not really getting money over there, or Earl living paycheck to paycheck. And and it's like earlier, like a couple months ago after the what fight was it? After Danny and Sean fight back in September. The last thing we heard was Earl licking up in the Barclays, going crazy on Terence and talking about how he hasn't really fought anybody. So like you said, I do think at the end of the day they beef is deep rooted in who's better. I do think it's a bigger issue now since Terence moved up to 147 and he got a belt and he had an impressive win on last Saturday.
Right.
Now, next up, anybody that been on Twitter or you follow the boxes on Twitter and everything like that, y'all saw Tank's commentary on Terence Crawford and y'all saw the way he feel about Terence Crawford not being special. Now, what you think about the whole Terence, Earl, and Bud situation?
Terence, Earl, and Tank.
Yeah, Terence, Earl, and Tank. Yeah.
I mean,
because Tank is now we know that he got for him to make weight at 130, we know he's bigger than that, but it's not like
he's way bigger than that shit.
Yeah, it's not like Terrence is fighting Tank anytime soon. So what you think about that, Smoke?
I think that'd be a cool fight to watch. I'm a big Tank fan. I don't think Tank is better than Terrence though.
I don't think he's better. I think he's more dangerous than Bud.
No, I can agree with you on that because he's a big puncher. Yeah. But I don't I don't think if they fought like it's just one of them things like for you to say he's not special, it's like you're not a better fighter than him.
I mean, pound for pound, no. But we can't really judge Tank because Mayweather and them ain't giving him no fights.
I mean, it ain't like he like 10-0 or some shit. That nigga got fights under his belt.
No, he got fights under his belt and they're impressive victories, but it's like the fights that we want to see him in and just more activity to just get his name up. We can't really judge him yet. And it's not like Terrence's resume is that amazing either, but his performances are also great.
Because I mean, what is Tank 20-0?
I believe.
I think Tank is 20-0. Yeah, he 20-0. Bud is 34-0. I mean,
Damn, hold up, you breaking up. All right, stop right there.
I don't think Tank could beat him.
Stop right there, yo. You was breaking up.
I said I'm
interested in seeing that fight too. But it'd be hard for me because then it's like I don't know if Tank can I don't know how Tank can adjust to 147, and I don't see Bud going back down the weight class. So it'd be interesting if we ever got that fight. But what you think of? Do you think this is just Tank since he's close with Earl, just riding with Earl, or do you think he legitimately doesn't think that Terence Crawford is a special guy?
I think he just riding for his man. I don't think Tank really feel that way. I think he's just riding for his boy.
I get that. Okay, before we get into the big news of the boxing week, we got I don't know. This might be the big news of the boxing week. We got Pacquiao and Adrian Broner basically done. 90% done, says Pacquiao. And that shit is looking like it's going to take place January 19th. What you think about this, man? I think we talked about this last episode, maybe a little bit, but what
I
you
don't know,
think
man.
about it?
It's like having Adrian Brown at a sometimes boxing shit being the big news of boxing. It's kind of crazy, but whatever. I mean, it's just shitty because it's like I was a big fan of AB.
Right.
Because he got the talent. I mean, he had the talent. I don't know if he still has the talent,
Mm-hmm.
but he had the talent to definitely. Yeah, he had the talent to be one of the best. And then it's almost like he just he got the money and said, "Fuck that shit." Pretty much, he want to be a rapper and all that dumb shit. Every time I'm watching the Smack battle, he in the background.
The fame overtook the boxing. Do you think it was? Do you think his like? Where do you think it all started at for AB's? I don't want to say downfall because he still put a lot of asses in the seats when he fighting. He still draws interest, but where do you think the downfall started from him being on the pound for pound list at a young age to him not being considered one of those top guys anymore?
What was the last big fight that he won?
Ooh. The last big one, I can't even remember.
Let me see.
I know he had wins in the last couple of years, but I wouldn't say those was big fights.
Right.
We know the last big fight he was in was against Jesse Vargas back in April. I don't know if he's ever really won a big fight. He lost to Sean, lost to Mikey. He drew it with Jesse Vargas. He got beat down by Chino Maidana.
Who was the last? I can't remember who it was. I feel like I don't even remember how many years ago that was, but it just seemed like he just started. Cause shit, the last real victory I really remember from him is when he was the Can Man,
and that was years ago. Fucking AB, man. So how you see that fight going?
It's hard because it's like Pacquiao old.
Basically.
Pacquiao is old, but AB don't I don't know what he does.
He don't let his hands go.
Yeah. That's why it's hard to call it. I'll probably go with I would like to see AB win.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put money on AB winning.
Right.
So I think Pacquiao could take this fight. I think Pacquiao could take it from him.
I got Pacquiao. If that fight do happen, I got Pacquiao on points. But it's like I feel like from the 8th on, Adrian will probably beat his ass. But it'll just be too late by then.
Shit, I'm not telling. Pacquiao might be in better shape than AB.
Probably.
So I'll put the bell at it.
Probably. The Rose. Oh shit, man. We definitely gonna give y'all a lot about that fight as we get more on it coming up. But
yeah, I mean one thing about AB, he'll sell the fight.
Yeah, easily. That's definitely a fact. We had the big Canelo news this week. Biggest deal in fucking sport history, pretty much. $365 million deal for Canelo. 11 fights over 5 years. Signing with DAZN. His first fight is December 15th against Rocky Fielding. He moving up a weight class, so he moving from 160 to 168. What you think about this deal for Canelo and how this, what this does for the game?
I think it is opening up opportunities for the big name fighters to go and get that, to go and get that money, number one. And number two, I mean, I think with this whole thing, because how long has this DAZN shit been around? Is this new?
Yeah, DAZN just started, and
that got to do with it. I mean, HBO not kind of getting out of that.
Yeah,
shit,
getting
right?
out the game. Yeah, DAZN launched. It was when was AJ first fight? I think it was September 22nd. That was the launch. His first fight on the platform was Joshua Povetkin.
Oh, yeah. Because I think when I watched that, I watched it on YouTube though. When I watched the fight, and that's pretty much a live sports streaming service, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It deals with boxing, but it's crazy because boxing is just the first sport. It does with MMA, and then it's trying to get into some other things later on down the line. But this is a big get for him though.
No, definitely, especially. See, but I think that's their way of setting the table.
You think
Now go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Well, no, I was just saying that's their way of setting the table for the rest of these, for the rest of these fighters to come over there.
Mm-hmm. You think pay-per-view is done? Because we know ESPN has the deal with Top Rank and DAZN with Eddie Hearn and now Golden Boy. You think Showtime is here for the long run, or you think soon Showtime like HBO would be gone?
I think I don't think they're here for the long run. I don't think it's over with for them like next year. I think they might have a couple of years left, but it's definitely. I think anything that's pay-per-view related will be on its way out soon. With the just because of these streaming services,
right?
And it's better for you to kind of get on board with one of these streaming services and be able to kind of get some type of money versus your fight being streamed for free, and you got millions of people watching that shit for free.
Basically, and then for the consumers, like, because we know that these streaming services gonna get a lot of shit early because it's new and people just don't want to accept change. But it's like you can't argue with the fact of paying $9.99 a month to watch the top two biggest star in boxing and Canelo for $10 versus $80.
Pretty much.
Like, you can't argue with that fact at all. What do you think about this deal for Canelo as far as him facing other big names, as far as him just changing the game as we know it? What do you think this helps him get closer to fighting those other bigger guys outside of the triple G's and things like that?
I think so, because it's once you start taking on all of the big names, it's like it's really no way for you to go any other direction. So it's like You can't go from fighting the big name fighters and then just kind of regress back, because then it's going to either look like, all right, somebody, the fans like to say this person is ducking or that person is ducking, so it ain't no way. 2 or 3 big name fighters back to back, and then you go and fight some random guy.
Right.
So I think it's opening the doors to where like we get to see a lot of these big name fighters go toe to toe with each other, and not just fucking, not just Twitter beefing, and the fight never happens.
Basically, and that's what I like. That's what I like about today's era. I feel it was a struggle like in the mid 2000s when Floyd was dominating the game and he was running it. But we are getting back to a time where the best are fighting the best, and we will see these big fights like we want to see, and we're going to get the Charlo and Triple G and Terrence and Earl and Wilder Joshua. Like, we're going to get these big fights that we want to see at every level.
Right, yeah. I think that's great for the sport, though.
No, definitely, because that shit is just going to draw more eyes. Because when boxing was at his height with Roy Jones and Bernard and Oscar and everything like that, these guys were fighting each other.
No, I'm with you.
Before we do get out of here, I got 2 questions. I want to know, out of all the middleweights, and everything like that, and on the next episode, I do want to do a breakdown of the middleweight division, because that's pound for pound the best division right now. But out of all the middleweights, and things like that, who's the guy you want to see Canelo fight more outside of Triple G? Well, the most, rather.
Who is the fight that he got coming up? Who is that against?
That's against Rocky Fielding. Rocky is champion 168. So Canelo moving up another division, and he's fucking outreach probably like 5-6 inches. Like, Rocky Fielding no slack. But this is a fight that everybody feel like Canelo should win, though, even with the physical, like, out matches.
Okay. Middleweights. You figure who all has he fought already? As far as like the top middleweights, who he got? I mean, I know of course, Triple G fought him twice. Right.
He hasn't really fought any of the top middleweights yet, because I think his first middleweight fight was against Miguel Cotto. Like, okay. Cotto was old at that time, and that was a fight. That was a close fight to me. But if you go back and look at it, people feel like Canelo won that easily. And then Triple G was his next middleweight fights. He beat down, I think it was I don't want to say Sergio Martinez between that time. It was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's who it was. He beat him down before the Triple G fight. So he hasn't really fought he hasn't fought Danny Jacobs or Boo Boo Andrade or Jamar Charlo. And I'm going to give you time to catch up on all this shit before the next episode. That's why I said I want to talk about that next episode.
Okay.
But
who would you want to see him fight? I mean,
I don't know, man. It's I want to see him fight Jamal. Like, I want to see him fight Charlo, but that fight, like, they putting Jamal through a lot of shit to get to Canelo. Like, they saying he got to fight Triple G, and that fight ain't gonna be easily made.
Yeah, it might be another year or so before we get that.
Yeah, before you get that. So it's just like I want to see him fight Jamal, but in the meantime, I would like to see him fight why is it escaping me? And they did Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs fight Saturday. We want to talk about that too. I would like to see him fight Danny Jacobs because I thought Danny Jacobs beat Triple G. So that's a fight I would like to see.
Okay.
Last question. We ready to wrap this up, everybody. How you feel about the game right now, yo? And what you looking forward to for the end of 2019? I mean, for the end of 2018 and going into 2019.
Oh, how I feel about this shit right now. I think it's getting interesting. I mean, it's been interesting, but I do kind of I'm entertained by like the fighters kind of talking shit to each other. The fighters,
right?
They talk their shit today. So I think, I think that's like one of the best things about following a lot of these top boxers on social media, because they kind of give their opinion, and then all of a sudden, now that's the next big fight because they done had a little Twitter back and forth and all of that stuff.
Right, they're keeping that energy with each other.
Yeah, so I think that I like that is the one thing that I like about the whole social media thing. But then I do think a lot of times it kind of blows some of the shit out of proportion. But I mean, it's fighting, so I think I like that aspect of the game. I think these big fighters kind of going at each other, and these big fighters actually trying to get in the ring with each other is dope. Because, like you said, we ain't really had that in a while.
Yeah,
where they consistently fight fighting each other, or trying to make it happen. Yeah,
and that's what the game need. I feel. I love where it's at right now. It's the boxing game and UFC. Like we getting these fights that we all want to see. And for us fans, I just feel like it's important for us to just let certain stuff just build. Because, we might feel like the motherfuckers might be fighting ducks or bums or whoever. But when you get these pound for pound guys fighting each other, it's so much more worth it. Just like the last two Canelo Triple G fights. That shit is worth it when you let it build up.
And then, I mean, shit, even, a lot of the shit that you seeing when these guys are going back and forth, they kind of open your eyes to other shit that you might have never thought about before. Guys you might have not even crossed their mind to think of them fighting before, and then now you get interested in them fighting now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, because now it's like motherfuckers is jumping weight classes every other week. They calling this guy out and they calling that guy out, and this only thing left to do is just make that fight.
Pretty much, and that's usually that's when a lot of times they in the run around. Oh, you need to fight him, and him, and him, and him.
Right. But, man, the game is in a great place. We're going to be here for y'all every other week, give y'all the rundown, the breakdown on everything that's going on. Like I said, next episode, we going to give y'all a deep dive on the middleweight division. But y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We coming every other week, new content.
What you got? So what to the end of the year?
The end of the year, I'm looking forward to the Fury Wilder thing, because it's the Fury Wilder fight, because that fight is only going to go two ways. Wilder is going to sleep Fury in the early rounds, or Fury is going to bore him to death and get it on points. It's no in between in that fight.
So it ain't no way Fury knocking him out.
I definitely don't see Fury knocking him out. And if Fury knocks him out, that hurts. That hurts Wilder's case for a 50-50 split for the fucking Joshua fight. Because Eddie and them already don't feel like he's worth 50-50 because he hasn't drawn crazy or made crazy money. But out of the desire of making that fight, they'll give him 50-50. But if he gets slapped by Tyson Fury after Fury hasn't fought a serious opponent in 4 years, he definitely ain't getting a 50-50 fight, bro.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen anyway. I don't think Fury gonna sleep him. I think it'll be. I don't even know. I'm trying to see what round would I give him. I might give him to like the 6th or 7th round.
I don't see it going past 5. I don't see why to let him go past 5.
I think it's just with him being gone so long, I don't think he stand a chance for real.
The inactivity is serious, and it's like his 2 comebacks haven't been real fights. They've been
in a contact sport,
publicity exhibition.
Yeah. Like I don't think he stand a chance for real.
Like you can't play boxing. Like you just can't take.
Well, that's what we was talking about last week. It was like you can't boxing ain't one of those sports where you can.
You gotta live that shit.
You gotta actually be getting in the ring is your practice. Sparring is different.
Yeah, really.
It's different because you ain't getting in there wild. And I guarantee you, whoever you sparring with don't hit as hard as him.
They definitely don't. And they're not coming with that crazy style.
And it ain't no headgear when you get in there.
Protection. Ain't no protection in that shit.
The only protection you gonna have is luckily he hitting you with the glove and not with his bare hands.
Who was
so
it?
What you want to say?
Who he fought? Who did Wilder fight that one? Like, did he like break his hand or some shit at one of his fights?
Like some years ago.
20.
I feel like that was like 2014, 2015. He was boxing somebody when he broke his hand and finished the fight with a broken hand or some shit.
Shit, I don't even remember. I was thinking Stavern, but
Stavern. I don't think it was Stavern.
I don't think it was him either. Yeah,
it was some years ago. Well, fuck that shit.
That was a while ago. But what you want to let everybody know before we get out of here, yo?
Man, just follow the network, man. Listen to all, whatever sports you into. Make sure you check us out. Leave comments or whatever. Send us DMs. Give us some type of feedback. Let us know what we can do better.
Definitely give us feedback.
Shout out to Tony. He carried the show because I know a lot of times I'm uninformed with some of the shit that's going on, but
we getting there, man.
Yeah, man. Just like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. Talk to us.
Definitely. And we coming, like I said, man, we're going to come every other week. That's the best time for us. So y'all just stay tuned. We got episode 4 coming in 2 weeks. And listen to NoFeelins meetings this week. Like I said, we recording that tomorrow. We got that coming. And the feud, of course. Justin's got his anime podcast. And we just diving in every avenue. And y'all stay tuned to what we got going on. Hard File Network, man. We holler at y'all.
Yeah.